Seated beside his mother on a plane, a blonde boy turns around and makes finger guns at a well-dressed, attractive blonde man. The man feigns being affected by the bullets from the boy's imaginary shots. The kid smiles, happy that he's been played with. His mom turns to see who's been playing with her son. The man raises his hands to make finger guns at the kid, revealing handcuffs around his wrists. The mother's features harden, recognizing a threat due to the handcuffs around the blonde man's wrists. Two other well-dressed men that are presumably escorting the handcuffed man beseech him, telling him he won't get toys in prison. An attractive black female flight attendant with black hair walks through the plane's aisles, taking account of the passengers. When she gets to an attractive black man in a blue shirt whose number is 57, she pauses as an expression of recognition crosses her face. They hold each other's eyes until she carries on counting, leaving passenger 57 behind. Now, let's go back to the very beginning. The cuffed blonde man from earlier, revealed in this scene as Mr. Rain, is reclined on a surgical bed about to undergo a surgical procedure to change his facial appearance. The doctor offers him an anesthetic for the pain, but Rain declines, claiming there'll be no pain. The revelation of the city's skyline shows that the setting is Miami, and the air fills with sirens as law enforcement agencies approach. An FBI agent gives instructions to other agents, instructing them to capture Charles Rain on the third floor and revealing that he's been eluding them due to frequently changing his appearance. They storm the hospital, but Rain isn't caught unprepared. He slits the surgeon's throat with a scalpel, dodges a barrage of gunshots through the hospital's corridor, and bursts through the glass window of the hospital. Rain is chased through the streets of Miami and eventually surrounded and caught by the agents. He's forced into a cop car and driven away. In the next scene, the attractive black flight attendant from earlier walks through the aisle of a plane as the black man we know as passenger 57 looks at her. He stands up, follows her, and reveals a gun. Tension grows as he grabs her and holds the gun to her head, requesting the keys to the flight deck. She attacks him, and another passenger grabs the gun. Clapping ensues. It's revealed that they aren't on a real plane. Rather, it's a course at the airline training facility mainly for training flight attendants in self-defense. The black man rebukes the lady for attacking him, telling her that making such choices in real danger could get her killed. Her name is revealed to be Slayton. They argued for a little bit till a middle-aged man in an expensive suit approached the black man and dismissed the class. After the class, Sly Del Vecchio, the man in the suit, walks with passenger 57. He calls passenger 57 John, letting us know his name. Sly is shown to be an old friend of John, and he offers John a job as the head of the counterterrorism unit for his company, Atlantic International Airlines. John declines, but Sly urges him to attend a meeting with him and Ramsey, the president of the company. Rain is led through jail after being apprehended amidst catcalls from other inmates from their cells. Rain talks to his attorney in his cell, who tells him he's being transported to Los Angeles to stand trial. Rain's attorney urges him to plead insanity, but Rain bashes his head against the table, strongly persisting that he isn't insane. The scene ends with Rain looking intently out of his cell window. John meditates shirtless as a flashback shows a robbery gone wrong in a convenience store. John tries to stop a black man from committing a robbery, but the man seizes John's wife, Lisa. He makes John drop his gun, but still shoots his wife in the head. John shoots the man to death, but what's done is done. He's lost his wife. John repeatedly throws punches at a weight, and he's haunted by the memory of his wife's death. Sly Del Vecchio, Ramsey, and John meet up at the Oxford. The duo is able to convince John Cutter to take the job and be the vice president of security for the airline. They clink their wine glasses in agreement. John boards a Lockheed L-1011 passenger aircraft as passenger 57. A suspicious-looking man watches the FBI arrive outside the plane. Charles Rain and the two FBI agents also board the plane. A beautiful flight attendant who's later revealed to be named Sabrina welcomes a Frenchman named Mr. Forget aboard the plane. Charles and the FBI agents take their seats behind the blonde boy and his mother. Slayton, the sassy black flight attendant from the training course, and Sabrina get acquainted with each other. The events of the first paragraph take place. The aircraft taxis down the runway and takes off in the air with both the good and the bad aboard. Sabrina is called by the mother of the blonde boy. She inquired if the man with the handcuffs, Charles, was dangerous. Sabrina assured the boy and his mother that everything was safe. John walks over to meet Slayton to request an aspirin. He reveals that he's not comfortable flying, which is ironic for an airline security agent. She gives him an attitude showing she's still annoyed from the disagreement during the training. John returns to his seat, exasperated. Now aboard the plane, the suspicious-looking man from earlier receives a call on the lower deck requesting service in first class. He takes out a metal briefcase and puts it on the waiting tray. Tired from his chatty seatmate and uncomfortable aboard the plane, John excuses himself and heads to the bathroom for some reprieve. Sabrina wheels a waiting tray over to where Rain and the agents are seated. She opens the covering of a plate to reveal a gun and shoots the two unsuspecting agents in the head. Rain unlocks his cuffs with the key from the dead agents, while Mr. Forget hands him one of the dead agents' guns. Sabrina and Mr. Forget are working for Charles Rain. It remained to be seen how many others were working for him. Rain heads over to the cockpit, while his henchmen hold the passengers hostage. Rain kills one of the pilots to make a point, and the remaining two pilots submit control of the flight to him. In the lavatory, John Cutter heard Rain's voice over the broadcast system, telling everyone that the plane had been hijacked and he was prepared to do anything to achieve his goal. John manages to get a hold of the plane's onboard phone. He puts a call through to Sly Del Vecchio and surreptitiously warns him of the situation. He overpowers one of Rain's henchmen, takes his gun, and uses him as a body shield to confront Rain. Rain takes Slayton hostage, using her as a shield. He took another person hostage, a man named Douglas, and passed on Slayton to Sabrina, who held a gun to her head. Rain ruthlessly kills Douglas, then kills his henchman while John dodges his bullets and runs. Sabrina tackles Slayton during the commotion and escapes. As a means of escape, Slayton and John took the elevator behind the aisles to the plane's cargo hold. John and Slayton met the suspicious-looking man named Robert in the cargo hold. Robert pretends to be ignorant about the hijacking, then tries to attack John. A fight ensued with John showing his skills and beating Robert till he passed out. Amidst all the chaos, John and Slayton made their way to the plane's avionics. John wants to dump the plane's fuel, but Slayton vehemently opposes him. They argue hotly, causing John to mistakenly call her Lisa. Trying to calm her down, he reassures Slayton that he knows what he's doing. She relents, and he dumps the fuel. At the Atlantic Airlines headquarters, they realize the plane is losing altitude and preparing to land at a small airfield outside Lake Lucille, Louisiana. Sly Del Vecchio boards a chopper to get there. Rain contacts the tower at Lake Lucille and threatens them to clear the airfield for landing. John and Slayton stand by the plane's door, planning to jump out as soon as it comes to a halt. Slayton asks him who Lisa is, and he tells her about his wife and her unfortunate death. Rain figures out what John is doing and puts a call through to him. The hero and the villain talk for the first time. They exchange threatening words. The small-town sheriff, Mr. Biggs, and his officers see the lowered airplane glide across the fairground. They head over to the airfield. John and Slayton wait by the open door for the plane to stop, but Mr. Forget approaches them from behind, shoves John out of the plane, and grabs onto Slayton. The plane races for a bit, then comes to a halt. Two officers of the sheriff's department arrest John Cutter, despite his claims that he was the plane's head of security. Rain makes contact with the tower again. He kills 5 passengers as a demonstration and requests that the plane be fully fueled or more passengers will die. Rain promises to release 100 passengers once they start filling up the plane. The sheriff agrees, oblivious to Rain's plans. At the headquarters of the Atlantic, they realize what Rain's plan is. He wanted to create a big enough diversion and escape in the chaos. The two officers bring Cutter to Mr. Biggs at the air tower. John tells the sheriff not to trust Rain, but Rain calls and tells Mr. Biggs that John is one of his henchmen, urging Biggs to harm him. Rain releases 100 hostages as he promised and escapes through one of the retractable tires under the plane with 2 of his henchmen, Robert and another man with glasses. John overpowers the 2 officers holding him, grabs a motorcycle, and heads to the fairgrounds. The FBI arrives, and the head agents ask for a concise report on the situation. He threatens to sue Mr. Biggs if any harm comes to John. John trails Rain at the fairgrounds. Rain leads him to a carnival where the man with glasses tries to shoot him but misses. Rain slips out. A chase follows. John climbs atop a stopped roller coaster, and the bespectacled man follows. John kicks him off the roller coaster, resulting in his death. John manages to tackle Rain before the police arrive and capture him. Sly Del Vecchio arrives. Rain threatens confidently that if he isn't allowed back on the plane and given clearance to fly, his henchmen will kill more passengers. Rain is led back onto the plane with 2 FBI escorts, with a sniper trained on him, ready to take him down and allow them to attack the plane to rescue the hostages. However, Robert is taking out the snipers. He kills the 2 escorts as Rain safely makes it into the plane. A gunfight ensues between the hijackers and the cops. John shoots Robert to death. Biggs and Sly Del Vecchio drive John beneath the racing plane to get back on it through a retractable tire. John succeeds. Cutter sneaks in and beats up Mr. Forget, taking him out. He sneaks into the cockpit and knocks out Sabrina. With no one left but him, Rain attacks John Cutter as they battle it out in an intense fight to see who triumphs. A stray bullet in their fight destroys one of the plane's windows, leading to the loss of air pressure in the plane, which blows open the plane's door. Cutter kicks Rain towards the blown-out door with mounting pressure and succeeds in kicking him out into the night, causing his death. John makes contact with the air tower from the cockpit, telling them of his success as Slayton tends to his injuries. They laugh in joy, happy that it's all come to an end. The plane returns to the airfield, and the FBI arrests Sabrina, the last survivor of the hijackers. Sly Del Vecchio talks to the press, slyly claiming credit for the success of the operation. Without a care in the world, John Cutter and Slayton walk off hand in hand into the night as fireworks pop in the night sky.